A lazy person lets their hat float in the river. A lazy person abandons self-improvement. A lazy person acts without making plans. A lazy person acts without planning. A lazy person always has 100 excuses. A lazy person arrives at their destination without walking the path. A lazy person arrives late. A lazy person asserts innocence. A lazy person avoids harsh reality. A lazy person avoids making decisions. A lazy person avoids taking responsibility for themselves. A lazy person avoids the burden on their heart. A lazy person avoids the shortest distance. A lazy person becomes a fallen leaf for others. A lazy person becomes self-destructive. A lazy person becomes someone else's dog. A lazy person believes in the God of tomorrow. A lazy person believes success is due to others' efforts. A lazy person builds bird nests. A lazy person builds high walls. A lazy person can become a tiger. A lazy person can even prolong a small life. A lazy person can sit on a stone for 3 years. A lazy person cannot become a bodhisattva. A lazy person changes their stance easily. A lazy person chases dreams without taking action. A lazy person chooses the easy path before them. A lazy person chooses to halt their thinking. A lazy person complains more than they make an effort. A lazy person consumes today without investing in the future. A lazy person continues to spoil themselves. A lazy person creates their own limitations. A lazy person creates their own limits. A lazy person cries over the gap between ideals and reality. A lazy person cuts corners without seeking results. A lazy person depends on the efforts of others. A lazy person dislikes food without trying it. A lazy person does not get tired. A lazy person does not know where the sky goes. A lazy person doesn't aim for the heights. A lazy person doesn't believe in themselves. A lazy person doesn't climb the stairs of success. A lazy person doesn't dig deep. A lazy person doesn't know that success lies beyond action. A lazy person doesn't know the feeling of accomplishment. A lazy person doesn't know the joy of traveling the path. A lazy person doesn't know the taste. A lazy person doesn't open an umbrella. A lazy person doesn't read the air. A lazy person doesn't think about the future. A lazy person doesn't understand obligations and human emotions. A lazy person doesn't understand the meaning of effort. A lazy person doesn't understand the ways of the world. A lazy person dreams of fishing. A lazy person drifts without setting goals. A lazy person enjoys the process more than the result. A lazy person entrusts their wishes to the heavens. A lazy person envies others' success. A lazy person envies the success of others. A lazy person even loses to their own shadow. A lazy person excels in words rather than actions. A lazy person exerts no effort. A lazy person expects results without making any effort. A lazy person falls behind by a minute. A lazy person fears change. A lazy person flies above the sky. A lazy person gains exhaustion from the effort of others. A lazy person gathers in herds like sheep. A lazy person gives up before experiencing a sense of achievement. A lazy person gives up without making an effort. A lazy person goes for a second and third sleep. A lazy person goes to sleep hungry. A lazy person has a rough breathing. A lazy person hesitates even for a 5-minute expense. A lazy person hesitates to make an effort. A lazy person holds on to dissatisfaction without changing their circumstances. A lazy person hopes for success without effort. A lazy person hopes for success without making any effort. A lazy person indulges in short-term pleasures. A lazy person indulges themselves. A lazy person infinitely limits their own potential. A lazy person is a cavity in promises. A lazy person is a master of digging holes. A lazy person is a master of excuses. A lazy person is a master of the second sleep. A lazy person is a thief's friend. A lazy person is a tool of tools. A lazy person is adept at making excuses rather than taking action. A lazy person is always busy. A lazy person is an enemy of morality. A lazy person is an enemy of time. A lazy person is as relaxed as a cat. A lazy person is blown by the wind. A lazy person is breathing like an insect. A lazy person is burned by the flames of hell. A lazy person is content as long as their stomach is full. A lazy person is content with immediate gains. A lazy person is defeated even by small insects. A lazy person is freed from the shackles of the world. A lazy person is lazy when asleep and awake. A lazy person is lazy while sleeping and waking up. A lazy person is like a cannonball. A lazy person is poor in spirit. A lazy person is skilled at finding escape routes. A lazy person is someone else's steamed bun. A lazy person is the god of opportunities. A lazy person is the greatest enemy of the world. A lazy person is the longest in a day. A lazy person is the sleeping beauty for 3 years. A lazy person is used by fools. A lazy person lacks curiosity. A lazy person lacks patience. A lazy person lacks perseverance. A lazy person lacks the courage to take a step forward. A lazy person leaves it to others. A lazy person lets it flow like water. A lazy person lets their treasures go to waste. A lazy person lives by looking at the sky. A lazy person lives in their dreams. A lazy person lives off the achievements of others. A lazy person lives without hope. A lazy person looks down at their feet. A lazy person misses opportunities for personal growth. A lazy person misses opportunities to utilize their talents. A lazy person misses opportunities. A lazy person moves as slowly as a snake. A lazy person moves mountains. A lazy person observes others' actions and adjusts their own. A lazy person often envies others. A lazy person often undervalues themselves. A lazy person only acts on rainy days. A lazy person only dreams without taking action. A lazy person only puts one foot into the peach festival. A lazy person overestimates their own abilities. A lazy person overlooks possibilities. A lazy person overlooks treasure. A lazy person plays a supporting role on the stage of life. A lazy person plays like a cat. A lazy person postpones life. A lazy person prays to the star of good fortune. A lazy person prefers dumplings over flowers. A lazy person prefers to rely on others. A lazy person procrastinates. A lazy person pursues pleasure over perseverance. A lazy person pushes tasks onto others. A lazy person puts the future on hold. A lazy person reaps what they sow. A lazy person regrets not taking action. A lazy person relies on divine intervention in times of trouble. A lazy person relies on others' efforts. A lazy person remains lazy until the grave. A lazy person resists tools. A lazy person rests on past successes. A lazy person rests with all their might. A lazy person seeks comfort and ends up in hardship. A lazy person seeks ease rather than making an effort. A lazy person seeks paradise through ease. A lazy person sees darkness just 1 inch ahead. A lazy person sees the grass as greener on the other side. A lazy person settles for their own talent. A lazy person sits and cries. A lazy person sleeps before dinner. A lazy person spins convoluted arguments. A lazy person starts even a 1,000-mile journey with a single step. A lazy person steps on the stone of responsibility. A lazy person struggles to maintain motivation. A lazy person stumbles over the stone in front of them. A lazy person suffers from regret. A lazy person takes a day off even on their day off. A lazy person takes shortcuts in everything. A lazy person takes the long way on their journey. A lazy person thinks 1 grain is twice as delicious. A lazy person treats it as someone else's problem. A lazy person triggers an avalanche. A lazy person underestimates their own abilities. A lazy person underestimates themselves. A lazy person waits for a revolution. A lazy person waits for the day to end. A lazy person waits for the flow of time. A lazy person waits for the snacks with their drink. A lazy person waits for their chance. A lazy person wakes up early. A lazy person walks in the same place. A lazy person wastes exceptional talent. A lazy person wastes time. A lazy person watches life go by. A lazy person weaves spider webs. A lazy person won't stand up even if they do a handstand. A lazy person works while sleeping. A lazy person writes a letter on a utility pole. A lazy person's hand gets burned. A lazy person's wedding procession of foxes. Actions speak louder than words for a lazy person. Dinner of a lazy person. Even a bird brain wakes up early. Even a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step for a lazy person. Even if shown the path, a lazy person won't walk. Even with an income, a lazy person is poor. For a lazy person, darkness is just an inch away. Fortune does not come to a lazy person. It's pointless to tell a lazy person. Laziness is the root of all illnesses. Lazy people are used like tools. Lazy people bring bad luck. Lazy people give up their seats. Lazy people like bugs. The complaints of a lazy person serve no purpose. The day of a lazy person is the 28th day. The day of a lazy person never dawns. The destiny of a lazy person is poverty. The hands of a lazy person create nothing. The howling of a lazy person is that of a loser. The insect of laziness consumes oneself. The laziness of a lazy person is clearly visible. The lazy person's rice plant doesn't bloom. The lunchbox of a lazy person is empty. The motto of a lazy person is "I'll do it later." The paradise of a lazy person. The sin of a lazy person is heavy. The tree of a lazy person does not bear fruit. There is no medicine for a lazy person.